I want to talk about this movie though, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro.
You know what we got.
Man, can I, bro? What you say earlier?
Yeah.
He said,
you
he
run
got the
this
rap
right
name. He got the yeah, man. I'm gonna see if I can memorize all the names off the top, man. You got your boy Paul. Muad'Dib, Usul, the Kwisatz Haderach, Atreides. No, the Duke of Arrakis. I'm getting ahead. That's spoilers. The Duke of Arrakis, Atreides. So Paul, Muad'Dib, Usul, the Kwisatz Haderach himself, the Gisan Alib. They had hella names for this dude, man. Hey, listen. So we had Dune Part 2 premiere yesterday. I saw it last night. Did you see it last night?
Saw it last night.
Did you see the IMAX or the regular?
I did not.
I'm going back for the IMAX.
I have to go back with that. I have to, like, bro. You know, you got this thing where you're like, what you spend money for? Like, okay, look, I'm not spending money for no regular 2D anymore. If it's IMAX, unless I have to see, which I had to see Dune last night.
Yeah.
I gotta go see it in my IMAX.
I'm going back. Yeah.
Because what I saw, I didn't do it justice. I mean, it was a great movie, but it just didn't.
Oh, you could tell it's IMAX, bro. This is an IMAX movie, bro. This is like certain movies got priorities. Yes. It's an IMAX level priority movie. Like this really made for IMAX. You're supposed to see
it set the standard that I'm only leaving the house for the movies going forward. You know, I'm talking smack, but let me be extra for a minute. I'm only leaving the house for movies if it's IMAX worthy. Now, you know, some movies ain't gonna get that. They gonna get the regular treatment. But I'm standing on that.
Hey, man.
Like Dune 2 was IMAX worthy.
Man, so I saw it last night.
You said you didn't see it on IMAX.
I did not see it on IMAX.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna go back and I'm going to watch it again on IMAX.
Yes.
Because it's one of those, it's an event at this point. This is an event. Certain movies are events. You have to witness it at the highest possible
resolution.
Yeah, you got to see it in its best form. And this is meant for IMAX.
All its splendor.
I can also see this movie to an extent coming, like them bringing this back out in like black and white, but I don't think they're gonna do that. They don't need to do that. I'm just throwing that out there, man. Let's get into it. So I'm gonna just come right out and say I really enjoyed this movie. I mean, I pretty much loved every bit of it. Just felt like an event. One of the best displays of sci-fi fantasy that we've seen in a long time, man. And I'm gonna get to this later, but this movie's it confirms what I said before, and that is the two guys that I think should take over Star Wars. Probably never happen. Probably won't happen. But if I was in charge of Lucasfilm right now, or if I was Bob Iger or whoever's in charge of Disney, I'm cleaning the slate. And I'm handing over everything. I'm calling DV and I'm calling Christopher Nolan. And I'm saying, look, I got billions on the table. Billions. Put everything y'all got down. I want y'all to run Star Wars for the next 10 years. Y'all can alternate, but I want y'all in charge of Star Wars for the next year. This guy right here gets it. Like I said, I'm gonna get to it later, but I'll elaborate we'll elaborate on that later. But
and him, honestly, him more than Nolan.
Him more than Nolan. I just threw Nolan in there I want Nolan to direct some movies, but I want this dude to run Star Wars. I want him to direct the movies, obviously, but I also want him to be in charge of going forward of how Star Wars looks. Because this dude right here, man, he get it, bro.
Let me ask you a question. Like, because you read the books.
Yeah.
You've read books, so I want to put you out there that you read them all. You may have.
I'm up to I'm on like the third book. So I read Dune and I read Dune Messiah, which is what's coming up next after this movie.
So how good is he? How well is this? Even if it's changed some, how well is it adapted? Because that's what I'm hearing is that he's doing is a great job.
Man, it's got to be one of the best adaptations you're gonna see. Because this is where he earns. This is where he earns the most credit. This is one of the best adaptions, but you can't you got to understand that he's adapting something that's not adaptable. You know what I'm saying? Like it's an uphill climb. It's not really meant to be adapted into a movie. The book, you read the book, it's not like spectacle, right? It's not really made to be a movie.
Yeah.
So to achieve something like this, and that's why the movie's so long, but to be able to adapt a book like Dune and break it down into 2 parts, which it absolutely had to be 2 parts. It really could have been 3. To pull this off the way that he's done it, and to get it almost 1-for-1. It's not. You know, he did make some changes, and we're gonna talk about that later after I get your thoughts. That's a hell of an achievement, man. I mean, it's like I can't knock him. You know what I mean? It's not a perfect movie, but in terms of adaptations, it's one of the best.
That's what I keep hearing.
And he gets extra credit for doing it with Dune. It's not like other books. It's not Hunger Games.
Yeah.
It's not Ready Player
Harry
One.
Potter.
It's not Harry Potter. Books that were clearly made to be movies.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's not. This was made in the 60s. You know what I mean? This really wasn't meant to be a movie, you know. This could be a show. You know, you could do a television show for Dune. They got miniseries that came out, you know, in the early 2000s. Okay. But this right here is, that's an achievement, man, to be able to scale this down enough to get it into 2 movies and to maintain. And he gets exactly what the book is going for. And again, I'll elaborate on it later because I want to talk about this. But yeah, like I said, man, I enjoyed it. I'm going back. I'm seeing it again, and I might see it again after that. My early movie of the year, easily. What you think, though? What you think?
Yeah, I think for me, who knows nothing of the Lord, right? And I think you made an excellent point. Some movies are long because they trying to get a lot of stuff in, or it's dragging on. I think this movie needed to be long for people like me, right? And I'm gonna get to my point. Like, so I'm watching some of the beginning, and I know the stuff that's kind of dragging along slow for me is because I don't know the Lord, because I'm trying to figure it out. But I'm trying to figure it out from not knowing anything, right? Like, okay, I know I'm watching Moms. What's her name? Lady Jessica.
Yeah.
I'm watching Lady Jessica. I'm like, yeah, she got a little. There's something there. And then I'm watching Timothy kind of like, you know, like struggle with. They can, you know, struggle with, and this all spoilers. So don't.
Yeah, we going straight into spoilers.
They thinking about we gonna hide some stuff, but just him struggling, him not wanting to, him kind of basically going against his destiny. Like, he don't want to, because he keep having these visions
at first.
At first. So that a lot of the beginning of the movie was about that, and him growing, him proving himself to the Fremen and things like that. So it's kind of like I can't really grasp yet, and it felt moving slow. Then they introduced the newer characters when Florence Pugh showed up.
Irulan.
When Grolan came back, what's my man Gurney?
Yeah, Gurney
came.
Yeah, that's
when they, and then it's like, and then all the stuff I was paying attention to in the beginning started to click, right? Yeah. But then that's also when it really picked up, right? Like it was like Florence Pugh character was what was her name in the movie? I'm saying
Irulan.
Princess
Irulan. Yeah.
Irulan. So she was, it's like she was explaining stuff for me.
Yeah, she's the nerd. She's in the book. She's basically the narrator.
Yeah, it's like that's funny that you say that, because honestly, it's like when she showed up, things explained to me real quick.
Yeah,
it made it easier for me, 100% easier for me to digest. But also, they started doing more, right? Like, so now by the end of the movie, I need to lower up.
And this is just go back to the book. Those who read the book, you understand. And I don't want to start saying it like, you know, you read the book. Look, because just think about, if you didn't read the book, just think about the first movie. You see a clear arc with Paul, right? He got it right, man. Like he got Paul Atreides right. Because this is what happens, where he comes out and he's growing up, and it's like he realized what his mom did. He's very aware of his mom and manipulation of the people, you know what I mean? And he very
he knows that. He knows that's happening.
He's smart enough to figure that out. Like, okay, look, I know what you did, and I know how these people gonna react to this stuff. But but go ahead, finish your point though. You saying
no. Continue, man. Continue.
Yeah, I was just saying, like,
That's the best part
that
of
was
the
very
movie.
important. And I give shout out to Timothy Chalamet, man. He did a great job, man. I was really impressed with his performance.
Like from what he was in the beginning of the first movie,
man,
to what he was at the end of this one.
Hell of an arc, yeah. The journey
and it's a proper one. And I like to throw away I'm gonna let you go. I throw out the term agency a lot.
Yeah,
that boy had it.
That boy had it, man.
When he got to that scene at the end, when he went to the Christopher Walken's character.
Straight out the book, yeah.
And he made him kneel, and then then he told him, "I'm gonna take you," because the mother had said that was about like you need to go ahead and get the get a line.
Yeah,
and he said that whatever he said his lines. I don't know him by heart yet, but then he was like, "I'll take you. You know how we'll do this? I'll take your daughter's hand." And then baby girl in the back looking stank. She looking stuck on stupid. And I'm like, hey, Ma, you should have stopped giving him a hard time. Like he chose up. That was my mom. I know that was how my mom was working. I was like, he chose up. Like you act like he couldn't choose up.
Yeah, and that's it. So all right, so I'll get into that in a minute.
But yeah. I just thought that was a really dope scene of like him being in control.
No, that's a great point, man.
That was my favorite scene of the movie. When he did that little moment right there was my favorite scene of the movie. There was a lot of great scenes in the movie. Don't get me wrong.
My favorite scene of the book. That was my favorite part of the book because it's like I was biting nails thinking about like, man, hold on, bro. Like how they gonna close this out? Because it is a few differences and from the book. He did change a little bit, but I'm like, man, come on, man. You got to get this this sort of the ascension pretty much, right? You got to get his ascension right. So it's like I'm watching it, man. He moved the lines around a little bit. Like he was more gangster in the movie because in the book he's like listen, in the book he's still like forceful, but he more like he rationalizing with the emperor, like the Padishah emperor. He like, look, man, your daughter don't have no husband, bro. I'll take your daughter. Like he's in the book, he explained it to him more. Like, look, your daughter has this makes sense, bro. Like basically, you gonna take the deal, but I'm gonna explain to you why this is the right deal, even though you really ain't got no choice. But in the movie, man, when he said, bro, I almost clapped, bro. I almost stood up and like, man, this dude really sold this character, man. He's like,
he killed it right there, didn't he?
Man, I'll take your daughter, man. How about that? And then Chani in the back, like, damn, hey, he chose up. Because he realized, because that's the thing, man. Once he drank that, the what they call it, the
poisoned,
the life,
poison, I got it right here in my note. The water of life,
which is basically worm piss. That's what it is, bro. Like but it's basically worm. But he, once he drank that, bro, everything becomes clear. He already see the end. He sort of get his Doctor Strange on where he like, I'll see all the outcomes.
Yeah.
This is the outcome.
Oh, that was a dope move when he did that with his hand. Like, it's like millions different. Then he put the hand straight. Yeah.
Hey, this is a classic right here, bro. This is one of the ones we're gonna be talking about. Like, hey, remember that part? This is what, bro. This movie gonna end up being like this gonna have some iconic moments and lines that people gonna use down the line, man.
He was cold, man.
Hey, Muad'Dib was that boy, man. So
did you call him No ID? I thought you called him No ID. I was like, is that his name?
No ID.
His name's in there.
No ID.
I thought you said No ID. No, I know what you said, but like
Muad'Dib. Young Muad'Dib was that guy, man. Usul Muad'Dib.
Yeah,
he was that guy, man. So young Atreides, when he was trying to explain to her, man, because Again, this is what I mean about why you don't have to worry about, oh man, I ain't read the book. It's not about that, because fortunately they've done a good enough job writing this thing and directing this thing. You really just go off the first movie. Everything's in the first movie. She said that.
I watched that again before I went.
Yeah, I did.
I didn't have an opportunity to. I should have.
Oh yeah, I watched it like 3 times. But she mentions like, we're trying to bring somebody in the world that can transcend time and space. Paul was already seeing time and space out of order. Like he was seeing the dude he fights at the end of in part 1, Jamis. Jamis was talking to him in the future. He was seeing another version of Jamis guiding him through the desert. He didn't know who Jamis was. He didn't know, but he knew he was going to interact with him in the future. He didn't know he was going to be the one he was going to have to kill. You know, he was going to have to kill.
Yeah.
But anyway, but not to go off on the tangent, but just to bring it back, man. Yeah.
You know,
the
like
switch from the guy in the first movie to this guy in the second movie was incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Villanueva did a great job. Again, I will admit, like in the beginning, and I knew it was good, but I didn't get it. So once we not getting it, it's like it's moving kind of slow. Like, but then immediately they introduce different characters. And we got, it's like I only had seen Zendaya, what's her name? Chani.
Yeah.
She was the only one that was like giving the kind of like, and she's dope. Don't give me, and she's dope. I'm not taking nothing away from her.
I'm gonna get on her though.
but she's given just this side of Paul, and the way he feel about her is probably holding him back, right?
Yeah.
So we don't get to see what I want to see, right? And then, but what ended up happening is these other characters got introduced. One, they moved the story along. They explained things for me. I actually got to see the threat that I needed to see, because the beginning of the movie, I'm like, mom is a threat, right? I don't know the lore. Yeah. So mom is a threat at this point.
No, they nailed it. Right now. That's it. That was it. Even in the first movie, everything matches from the first movie, right? Like the final scene in part one, Chani looks at Paul, tells Paul, like, basically like, hey, there's more, like, this is only the beginning, basically, Paul give this smile and he like look down like, damn, and he look at Chani like, hey, that's my future right there, and he follows her into the desert. And then the mom look at Paul like, and she look at the way Paul look at Chani, and right there, without any words, you see that's the conflict right there.
Yeah.
Chani versus the mom. And Chani versus the mom is the battle for Paul.
Yeah.
For who's Paul really gonna follow? His mom, or is he gonna follow Chani? And we get that answer in this movie, which is getting to my only knock on the movie, right?
Okay.
My only knock on the movie is, and I get it, because they had this is what happens. This is the price you got to pay when you adapt something, right? You gotta make a movie out of it. At the end of the day, you're not paid. You don't buy something to just one. You're not gonna make a 1-for-1 adaptation into a 3-hour movie. You can't do it. So but it's certain things you're gonna do, and it's a business at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So you got contracts. Who knows what Zendaya had in her contract? Well, she was kind of like, hey, I want to be on the poster. I want to be like the co-star.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I want to, like, Zendaya. Her agents are saying this, like, hey, we want to make sure Zendaya is like featured. We don't want her to just be a side character. We want her to be featured. So who knows what went into the, why they did the things they did.
Yeah. But
I'm guessing it has something to do with that. It's like the Hollywood part of it, right? Because, like, I'll tell you, in the book, that's not like, so how Chani was portrayed was like not a 1-for-1, right? Like, it wasn't perfect, because Chani is a companion. Paul does choose up at the end in the book, but there's not this moment where Chani runs off.
Yeah.
And there's no line where she's like, this isn't finished or whatever. At least I don't think. It's been a minute since I read the book, but still, that didn't happen, right? Yeah. So this whole idea of like, this isn't over. And then she runs off and like rides a worm at the end. That doesn't happen in the book.
Yeah.
No, Chani plays a role. Like, oh, okay, you choosing up. Damn, Saudi. But she don't run off.
Yeah.
And it looks like what they're setting up is Lady Jessica's mom versus Chani, which is not a thing in the book necessarily. Okay. It is a thing, but it's not like the story. It's not the book. It's always about Paul. So this idea that like Chani's gonna go off on this rebellion is wild. Like, wait a minute, hold on, that didn't happen.
So you think that's how that looked?
That's how they presented it. Was like Chani's gonna go off on her own. Like she's clearly in disagreement. Like you see in the like throughout the movie, she's like in clear disagreement of this whole the whole religious aspect of it, which is Frank Herbert's original vision when you think about it. Because remember, so you got to, I'll say this about the book. Frank Herbert, when he originally released the book, people didn't respond to it the way that he intended. People walked away like it was Star Wars or something. Like, oh, Paul, hell yeah, man, Paul the hero. Paul did it. Yes, you know, like Luke Skywalker blew up the Death Star. Everybody, hey, he the hero, yeah. But he didn't intend it to be that way. It was like, no, man, y'all didn't get it. Paul is a false messiah.
Yeah.
Like, and that's where the movie nails it. It's like, no, the movie lets you know right away. It even uses Chani to signal to the audience, hey, this isn't right. Yeah. And Paul even says it, like, man, I know what you did, man. Y'all planted all this stuff in these people's heads. Like, this isn't real. I'm not a messiah. I'm a manufactured messiah.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So they kind of use Chani to make sure that the audience knows that, the viewer knows that. Like, okay, because Frank Herbert, he wanted you to know after the first book. It's like that's why he came out with Dune Messiah was to explain to people, no, y'all didn't get it. Paul's not this hero. Paul came in and changed an entire culture.
Yeah,
like that was the point of the movie. That was the point of the book, I should say. The degradation of a culture. One of the I'm getting technical with this, but like one of the examples of that is Stilgar. Oh man, you want to talk about that boy? If I had to do a cast ranking, if I had to do like who was cast perfect, it's Stilgar. That was perfect.
I remember they was coming with Dune when you was like, yeah, I'm on board with that now. Like, okay, yeah, because that dude, he nice all together. Like, you know,
he that guy, man. He did a good job.
But
that's how Stilgar is in the book. So like, but the point I'm making, right? So like, look at how Stilgar was this like father. He was like almost like he was like an uncle. Like, hey man,
a mentor.
You my little man's in them. Like, bring you in. You under my arm. You know what I mean? Like, look, I'm gonna shepherd you through this thing. I'm gonna protect you. I'm gonna make sure you good. But you kind of like you my man's in them. You my little man.
Yeah.
But by the end of the movie, Stilgar is a fanboy. Like
he a believer.
Stilgar a believer, I should say. He a believer. Like that's kind of like the point of the movie. It's like he changed. Paul changes the Fremen. Before Paul got there, the Fremen were like these rebels, man, fighting for their planet, trying to protect the spice and all this stuff. And now he come in, he this Messiah. He changes the culture of the Fremen, and like. That's where Chani is coming in. Like, man, what are y'all doing? Like, she's trying to fight against this because she can see what's happening right away. Like, oh man, all these people had doubts when Paul first walked in there. They was clowning him.
100%.
They was looking at him. You know what I mean? But by the end of it, he become this legend.
100%.
Like, you know what I mean? Like the Harkonnens and all of them, they hear about him. Like, oh man, Muad'Dib, yeah, he become this figure. But the Fremen changed. The Fremen had all these beliefs and customs. They were doing fine without Paul for the most part. For the most part, he comes in and they had war. The Steech Tower, the place where they were staying at, that get blown up. The water and all that get destroyed. You know what I mean? All that stuff happens because of Paul.
Yeah,
and he knew that. Like, man, but once he drink that water of life, it's like, hey, it don't even matter no more. I see the outcome. I see why I have to do this now. And he get his revenge, right? So, but you get the point I'm making is But that's what Frank Herbert original vision was like, you guys, it's not about Paul being this hero and being Muad'Dib. It's about Paul being a manufactured Messiah. Mm-hmm. Because really the Bene Gesserit sisters are pulling the strings.
Exactly.
But to finish my point, and I know I was long-winded with that. To finish my point is that part they changed at the end. They put too much of an emphasis on Chani, like, going off on her own to where it's making you think like, oh, in the next movie she's gonna be going against Paul, and it's like, that's not a thing. Like, that's not a thing.
Yes, I didn't see because I didn't see that. Like I always felt like that character and the way you explaining that and the way it was presented in her
that's a good question. I want to know how did you see it? I know I just kind of
no that's an interesting perspective because I felt like her character, again, the way she was for me, the person that that's not into the lore, not into the books, that can explain what the original author was trying to do, right? because I would have just synced it. Like I probably, again, I like to think I can, write and what they say, talk and chew gum at the same time. But I probably would have went in with this is the hero, the person to come to save the day, right?
The Bene Gesserit, they the puppet masters. They the real villains, right?
Yeah,
they
100%.
the real villains. Where everybody else is just puppets. Even the Harkonnens, the Emperor, all of them, they just really just pawns for, they chess pieces for the Bene Gesserit. They planted all these seeds and all these different houses and all these different planets to basically like, all right, hey, y'all, it's a Messiah coming, and then they the ones that control the Messiah. So they basically they cornered the market on Messiahs. They always got the answer, like, oh yeah, we knew, I told you this was coming. So anybody rise up, they like, oh yeah, we already told you. So the Fremen already had a Reverend Mother. You seen that, and then Jessica take over. He was reluctant at first, and Chani is there for the audience to be like, no, this is wrong.
Yeah.
Like I'm the only one that's sane here. You know what I mean? I'm the only one that's not just even though it's a complicated relationship, right? Because it's like, even though they together, I look at him as Paul, to get the guy who couldn't walk and chew gum, like you say. Like he could. I'm looking at the guy who was tripping over his own feet when he came in here. I'm still looking at that. I'm with that guy,
Yeah.
But he become just Muad'Dib after the water. Like, no, I'm that guy. I'm the one. And that's, and just everything from that point on was just, his vision was clear.
Yeah, no. So when I left at the end, I saw more of the oncoming action he's going to have with the houses, and I saw the which I do find very interesting. The sisters, what they call them, the witches, what are they called again, man? I keep saying it
Bene
wrong.
Bene
Gesserit, what they're doing behind the scenes, like it was really, them playing, and using everybody as pawns, basically.
Yeah.
So I saw a lot of that. And then the jilted lover, right? Like a jilted, but you said there's a little bit more. There's more to that.
That's what I mean. They had to make a movie.
I didn't see.
That's not a real significant. That's not like a significant conflict necessarily in the book. Is what I'm saying. Like that's the movie part.
Yeah, and I didn't feel it significant at the end of the. That's what I'm saying. Like you would like. Because I didn't see it being as significant.
Okay,
I felt it was just like they gave Zendaya a scene, and she stormed off, and then she rolled off, right? Like that's how I synced it. Like it was a scene just for that. It didn't feel significant, but you're telling me it's probably more significant than
I'm saying that. I think it is from a movie standpoint. Yeah, I see what you're saying. So you saying you didn't even notice it like that? You just
I just seen somebody like somebody chose up. Yeah, somebody chose up, and she stormed off, right? Like because she was already kind of like conflicted altogether once he told her, like, I'm always going, whatever. He didn't say I'm always going to love you
for as long as I'm alive.
Yeah, one of those kind of lines. But it was like telling you, I'm gonna do that, but I gotta do this. Like, I had to let you know, like, but I gotta do this.
He even said,
I see the light.
Right.
And she had been dealing with that, and I just saw her like she was at the end, like he shows up, so I needed to get some air kind of deal. But you saying it's bigger than that, because that's crazy, because that's exactly how I saw. Like she needs some air.
Yeah, no,
I'm gonna storm off and go get some air.
First, she got to
ride word.
No, I'm with you. That's how it's supposed
funny shit to say. Like I need some air, and she gonna go get at this big ass worm.
With no goggles. By the way.
Goggle work.
She ain't put no goggle work on.
Hey,
I was like, that's a wild.
Protecting her, man.
I was like, hey, that's the only little knock I got. Because I'm like, hey, man, you probably could have left that out. Like, you probably could have just. Like, nah, but you're right, because you had the response that I think was supposed to be the response. I'm saying what if you reading a book would have been the response, like, oh yeah, Chani stepped out. She had to get some air, obviously, because that's a hell of a humiliating thing to happen, bro. Your dude, somebody chews up, your girl chews up in front of everybody,
bro.
For her, it's her dude choosing up in front of everybody, bro. Everybody know they together.
Everybody I know. It's everybody I know.
And like, imagine that for a minute, bro. Imagine that. Imagine a man and a woman.
I'm silly, man. My mind went there. What you about to say? It went there.
No, bro. Think about it though. Think about it. A man and a woman together. Y'all, both of them. They together, but they ain't married. They dating, or they like they boyfriend girl. They in a relationship, but they ain't married.
Yeah.
Not only do he choose up in front of her, he married, like he gonna marry the chick before he marry her. Like, imagine him proposing, not just choosing up. I'm proposing on the spot to this chick in front of you. Yes. And he gave you a line. Hey, you know I love. Hey, come on, man. You know I love you.
Yeah, I do love you, but
yeah, hey. But this business, you know what I mean? I gotta choose up. Chooses
ain't
up.
Shit shaking but the leaves in the trees.
Bro, she had to step out and get some air, but my thing,
like, get some air.
I'm
with that's dope that you saw that,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I know I could be wrong about what I think is gonna happen next, but it seems like they were setting up this idea that like she's gonna go on this rebellion. And Paul now becomes like, again, this is where DV kind of like Denis, he got it right, because that's the vision that the author wanted. Was like, now I'm supposed to look at Paul as like the hero. I'm supposed to look at him as like a controversial figure, almost like an anti-hero, like, because he's doing harm to the Fremen, like he changing their culture. But he uses Chani to signify that, which is cool. But now you don't want to. The fear for somebody, you know, for the people who read the book is, hey man, don't change nothing though.
Yeah,
there's no rebellion, there's no civil war with the Fremen, or
okay, I got
least, yeah, like there's
like the house divided within.
Yeah.
Like people gonna choose her side, and
that don't happen. They together. He just chose up. He like, hey, it's business. I gotta unite the houses. I'm gonna take the emperor's daughter. You know what I mean? That's how you do. That's what you're doing with royalty, right? That's
it's the correct move.
I'm gonna marry your daughter. You know what I mean? I'm the
correct
youngest
move.
I'm the new house in charge. I control. And he told him, anything happen to me, we blowing up the spice. You know, in that world, in this universe, spice is like oil.
Yeah, they need intergalactic travel, right?
It's the biggest resource ever, right? Like
and that basically was the Middle East, right? Where they at now. Wasn't it dope? Wasn't it dope when he said that? I told him the name of the former name of their home world when he said Dune, and they all cheered internally. That was cold, man.
Wait, hold on. What you talking about?
When he was giving that speech after he told the guy like your mom's was 7.
Oh yeah, he was like this planet was called another name before you.
When the heck
did he say the name though?
I thought he said Dune. In my mind, he said Dune.
No, the planet already called Dune.
No.
It's already called Dune. That's the name of it. They call it Dune and they call it Arrakis. But I get what you're saying. You're right.
Oh, okay, so I thought it was pivotal when he said that, because they got all hype when he did, but maybe he didn't say that.
He might have, but I know Harkonnen, the Baron, I know called it Dune in the first movie. Okay. And it's called Dune. I mean, that's the name of the planet.
Yeah.
But
maybe it was the emphasis on when he
the name of the planet is Arrakis, but they call it like he said, like my Dune. This is my Dune, my Arrakis.
Okay, so maybe it was more that line.
But you're right though. No, it had another name though.
Yeah.
they just. I mean, you gotta think about the house is just because you got like the house is just, you know, when they took over, they just called it something else. You gotta think of it as in the year 10,000. So it's like royalty and houses are now back in, you know, so they just probably was like, oh, we're gonna call this Arrakis. Who knows what Arrakis is named off? That's somewhere deep in the lore. But no, you're right. He did mention that. Like, man, when I knew your grandma, he said I saw your grandma when they called this planet another name. And you got to think, spice prolongs your life, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So his grandma could be like hundreds of years old. You know what I mean? So when he say so that's a long time ago is the point I'm making. Like she would have been a kid like a long time ago, before, you know, the houses came into you know, before they took over, before they found Arrakis.
I didn't even think about that. Two things. One thing I wanted to point out before I got into, because I want to get back to the part where you said him changing their culture. But before I get to that point, I think I texted you when I was in the theater that Rebecca Ferguson, weird as hell, man. She perfect for this.
Man, when I
her
say
weird ass is perfect for this shit.
This is what I mean about this movie, bro. I don't like casting. I don't know if you could get it better. I don't know if you could do a better job than this. when it comes to these roles. Like, I don't know if it's somebody, like, there's always somebody out there. You're like, hey, man, what's her name would have been bad? Whatever.
Yeah.
They, you know what they call these women? They said in the first movie, they called them weirding women.
Okay.
Weirding. You a weirding woman.
Yeah.
Which is like you a witch, basically. But
yeah,
they couldn't have got nobody else.
She
weird as hell.
On the planet.
Man, she was weird from the. She way weirder than she was in the first movie. But this movie, she dialed that shit up. Talking to her stomach.
Oh man, she was in her element, wasn't she, man?
Man, tattoos.
Because I feel like she do that. I feel like she do that in real life.
That's what I'm saying, bro. She pulled it off, but you couldn't have got nobody better. She got the accent. She got a weird accent.
Yeah,
she got that weird. She got like a French British accent.
Like 100%.
She got that weird look in her eyes.
Yeah, man.
You couldn't have got a better Lady Jessica though. And by the way, in the book, Lady Jessica is a gangster.
Okay.
Like that's what I mean about this whole, like, because some people might see this and be like, oh man, here we go. Strong female character. Nah, bro. This straight from the book. All that stuff she do is from the book.
That's the thing, man. Like even like with that line, right? Like, and we're not about to waste no time talking about that stuff. I mean, it's to be talked about, but like waste like too much on it. Like no, I'm just saying it from a standpoint of like you can't. I don't think you could do that with this. Like this, they built out they built it out right so that if that's the case, there's no thing behind it. We could be like, well, how did he get that so fast? They don't seem to be that should be that that kind of kind of the typical lines. And it's like, no, the movie lets you know why this is, how they work.
Yeah.
Like
it's excellent world building.
And it's almost like there's a faction between them, right? Like Lady Jessica, she's standing on her own business, right? Against them, like they ain't all aligned. I mean, we saw that in the first movie, but like we really get to see it. Like, no, they pulling strings, but she pulling her own strings.
Facts. She
and the
went
person
rogue
that
from day
knows
one.
She pulling strings, he might still fall for it. He know his mom's pulling strings.
See,
he still might fall.
See, that's the thing. That's how they play. That's how they play with the viewer. Pause. Like, they play with the audience because they like, look, because you still, even if you know the lore, or even if you looking at the first movie and you comparing it, you like, wait a minute, bro, is this dude? Because he doubting he the Messiah. He's totally against it on the first half of the movie. Before the water, he totally against it. The mom know that the shit is manufactured, but it's drilling that into his head. Hey, you need to do this. You're gonna be this. You're gonna be. She, even though she know the seeds was planted. But the thing about it is, she went rogue from day. I'm telling you, it's crazy. It's like the movie really about the Benny Gesserit. The movie is the book, the movie, the story. This whole thing is really about, like you said, them not having they house in order, because she went rogue from day one just by having a male heir.
Yeah, she the only one.
It's supposed to be a woman.
Right? Yeah,
Paul was supposed to be a girl. So she went in, changed the sex of the baby, and that's how she got Paul. Throw in all the other stuff, him getting trained and all that stuff. This dude can see into the future. He having visions. He started lining up with the prophecy, but she manufactured that.
Yeah,
it's her. She pulling the string. Like, she's the one that went rogue and went against the sisters. So now. That's why when like her, her teacher came in and was like, you weren't supposed to do that. And she like yelling, and then she's the one who's behind. She's the one behind the hit on their family. Like, she put that in the emperor's head. Like, hey, you need to take them out.
The older one.
What's her name? Yeah, I think so. Which that was dope. That was a dope. That's a big scene. That was a big scene in the book when he told her to sit down. Silence. That's in the book.
That's always dope when that voice comes out. Because he could do that too, right? Didn't he use that one time in the movie?
He tried. He does a few times. He does a few times. His mom always corrected him though. Like, you need your pitch. You need to work on your pitch and all this stuff. The voice.
Yeah.
Again, this is why a lot of people accuse George Lucas of biting off Frank Herbert, because that shit look basically the Force. It's basically a Jedi mind trick. It's like you will be silent. It's like, I will be silent. Or Neil. Like when she told old boy Neil. By the way, hold on. Because I'm gonna ask you this. What did you think of Faye Rotha, the villain of the movie?
I think he was, for me. And I keep saying that, man, and I want to be like, for me, he was needed because it closed it cycled the vision on someone, right? It gave me like it focused me on, okay, that's the bad guy, right?
There you go. Yeah,
that's
a good point. That's a great point.
And it was
great because you really didn't have that in the
me.
first movie. You had Bautista, you had
You just
Robert.
don't know. It's just all this kind of stuff happening.
That's a good
point. Great point. It just focused the movie, right? And again, that's just, and I'm not saying that for everyone. I'm saying for Jermaine watching the movie, I'm sure there were people like me who like was like, okay, cool. It just focused it. Like, so like, I don't have a place where I was like, was he perfect? Was he out of line? But he was perfect for what I needed from the movie, right? I don't know how close, and I'd like to hear from you, like how close he might have been. Was he a character, in lore, in the books? And then how he played that. Did he put his own little spin on that? I actually like that scene he had the most with what her name, Margaret, that when she pulled up on him and the interaction with that other what was it, Benny Gesserit?
Yeah.
That interaction, and then she played him, got her daughter out of it.
Yeah, he was in his
bag. But like I liked that. I really did like that scene. But yeah, like I feel like he was needed, and he allowed the kind of like oncoming threat focus for me. Like, this coming. But what you think?
I'm with you, man. It was spot on for me.
It was
an absolute creep in the books, right? Like, absolutely creep.
He was
in the book. Yeah, he a complete creep.
He was slobbing and shit, man.
He's not a big dude. He's not like a big bulky dude like Robin is. Dave Bautista's character.
Yeah.
He like a slender dude, pause. You know what I mean? But he a creep. He just creepy. And this was, man, they nailed it, bro. That's what I mean. Like, the casting for this movie, bro. That's who should get an award, man. If they, I don't know if you can get an award for that. Casting, director, whatever.
They do get awards for casting.
I think, they should.
Off-screen, one of them off-camera awards.
Yeah, like the best original cast, whatever it's called, like best cast. Damn, this is one of the best casts, man. Because that dude, that actor, and I forgot his name. I don't have his name pulled up, but I lost him in that character. I just saw
Austin Butler.
Yeah, Austin Butler. Yeah, he been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I think he just did Elvis.
Yeah, he was Elvis last year. I think he got a movie on Apple TV right now.
Okay.
Or like a show or whatever it is. But he been in a lot of stuff.
Masters of the Air. Yeah, they promote
that a lot. Yeah. He got a lot of stuff coming out. He did a great job. Yeah, it was Faye Rotha is, you're right, man. You're right, because that's a good point you said when you said that he gave you somebody to focus on and fix.
He focused the movie, man. Yeah, he focused the movie, man.
Because you really don't have a clear villain in the first movie.
Yeah, and because I think that's easy. And I don't want to sound like an idiot watching the movie. Like, I need a good guy, I need a villain, right? That's kind of simplistic of a movie. But like when Florence showed up, and then when he showed up, the movie just like for me, I was able to focus in. I saw all the layers, right? It's like I had to, I don't want to say I drunk some worm piss, but I drunk the water of life as a fan, as a viewer of the movie. Like, it cleared it up for me, man. I feel like when he showed up, it was like, okay, now we rock it. It's like because you sit in them seats, you can lean back, and you can like the recliner seats.
Yeah.
So I'm leaned back, and then like he show up, and the way they moving, I just went over here and adjusted my seat. I was sitting up now. Okay, it's time to get busy. I got it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's kind of it's kind of thing in the book, where it's like once he appears, you realize, okay, they're on this is what they say, unstoppable force against an immovable object. Yeah. That's kind of like Paul and Faye Roth. They're like, okay, they're in a collision course, bro. Like, because Faye come in and start laying down a demo, like Faye come in and like, hey, we bombing everything,
Yeah.
He just come in. He just way more of an effective,
like military leader.
Hold on. Work. Oh, yeah. Give me a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's outside. Okay, I'm like, damn.
Oh, I just noticed I got a pause button here too. I couldn't if I ever need to hit it.
Yeah, matter of fact, I should have hit that. But point I was making, Faye Rotha, he's somebody. He comes in the same way in the book where he's like, he's the one, man. You just realize like, okay, this is the villain. Because first half of the book, first movie, it's kind of like, all right, you see things going on, you see people, you see figures making plans in the shadows, but you really don't have like, oh, this is the guy they got to face at the end, you know. And now once Fade Rother come in, you realize, okay, it's gonna end with him and Paul, like one way or another. Like it's gonna come down to these two. By the way, man, that last fight scene was, man,
that's crazy.
That was tense, wasn't it?
100%, right?
Because you hear because the music goes away. That was my thing about it. That's why I say it was tense.
And I was just about to say that. It's crazy how you're gonna have a movie. That's what I like about when I say details.
Yeah.
And you're paying attention to everything, right? Like to the point where it's like a movie can have. I'm not saying I'm paying attention. Like every detail matters is what I'm trying to say in terms of the person putting together the movie, because you can have a movie that big a scale, right?
Right.
And it's coming down to a knife fight between the antagonist and the protagonist, so to speak, in the movie with no music happening. But it had so much tension in it to the point where it's like, yo, Timothy gotta make it to the next movie, but like, yo, he might not make it to the next movie. Like he could not. I don't know. I don't know, right? Because I don't know, right? I don't know. I don't know. So
I wasn't.
He might not make it.
Yeah, I'm reading the book. Like I'm like, hold on. Like,
I
don't really know about the next book. I'm just kind of like, I think Paul in it, like, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't have no proof of that's him on the front, or like that's, you know, that he the Messiah. Like I have no proof of that. That could be like a time jump. It could be about his, you know, it could be about anything. So I'm like, I don't really know, bro. Is he gonna survive this fight? And it's again, it come down to the last like few lines where you're like, oh, okay, yeah, he made it. But that shit, yeah,
because he did catch one.
He caught two, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then he did the classic, like, oh, that's your girl. That's your work over there.
Oh,
that's your pet. What do you say?
Oh, that's your pet.
Hey, Johnny was getting it. Johnny was getting it. Because I think he chose up before the fight, didn't he? Did he choose up before
I thought he chose up after the fight.
It was after the fight. It was
but damn, man. Like he did that, but he didn't act like, you know, like when somebody usually in the movies, like, oh, that's your pet. Maybe remember Thor's like, remember Thor and Loki, like, I may have to go pay her a visit. That's you know, Thor, he came with the hammer. Like Tim, Paul didn't do that. He just was ready to still fight, but he didn't like fight for her honor.
He kept.
He didn't fight for her honor at that point. She should have known he was gonna choose up after that. Like, man, you gonna let him talk to me like that? Call me a pet.
You ain't even gonna react to that? Like, I am your pet.
And that was only after a scoop. He still got stabbed twice after that. You supposed to fight harder when somebody disrespect your action.
He still caught one after that. You supposed to be. Yeah, that should have. You should have been, man.
He ain't going to be wild after that. He just was like keeping this calm and cool. One point I wanted to make. I know I didn't want to like cut you off because I wanted to ask a question.
No, you
brought up something earlier, and I wanted to kind of like elaborate on that a little bit more. So you say, which made me think like in the books, what he's doing is changing the culture, and I didn't think about that, right? Yeah. Like he's changing their culture, but now I'm kind of seeing am I right on this, or am I on a kind of correct path? Because like when you watch now, I'm looking at it this now, like the Fremen were surviving. Like those people didn't even believe that anybody where they had been living. It was habit. Well, were they like you couldn't live with, I want to say habitat, or a bit. There's a word start with an H to go with habitat, but like it wasn't really an area where you can like conquer land. Like nobody's doing well there, but the Fremen were thriving there. It seemed like, right, in the area where everybody believed there was nobody, but until Paul and his mother showed up.
Yeah, it changed things.
That kind of like he's kind of bringing them out of the shadows when they were kind of already all right. They were living amongst the spice.
That's what I mean.
Doing good. Is that what's kind of happening? Like he's putting them in the light when they were already doing good.
They were good without him.
Well, they weren't gonna be noticed.
Now, now it's two ways you're gonna look, because it's like, all right, you could say, like we say, like, all right, they was doing. I mean, they had millions of Fremen like in the South, and you know, it wasn't like they was going extinct. You know, they just now they didn't, because in the first cutscene, the first scene you see in the first movie is them losing basically to the Harkonnens, Harkonnens. I keep saying Harkonnens. The Harkonnens. They keep, they basically like we couldn't drive the Harkonnens off, but they they're very much independent as a society.
Yeah,
and they could coexist with House Atreides, and basically when House Atreides got there, they can coexist with like basically whoever comes in and is mining, is trying to is running spice production basically. So yeah, like I say, they were thriving in the sense that they were populated. They had land in the South, like. Yeah, they were good. Like they wasn't going extinct. They wasn't being driven completely out of Arrakis. Like they were, the Harkonnens came in and took back Arrakis, and then they had those little skirmishes with them over the when they were doing spice production. But they were doing that anyway without Paul.
Yeah.
But the thing where Paul, the reason I say Paul, and I think ultimately, the author was saying like Paul promises him paradise.
Oh, he did say
so.
That.
It's like, I'm changing your culture.
He said
like
that to paradise.
He like, I'm gonna take you to paradise. And like, what do you mean? So now I could be wrong about this, but this is kind of like more how I interpreted it. I think I'm right about I'm just saying, I'm going off when I say that Frank Herbert's intention was to show you that Paul wasn't the Messiah. He wasn't this hero, and that he was bad for the Fremen and their culture. That's a fact. That's what Frank Herbert was trying to. That's why he came out with the second book, was to solidify that. Like, no, this is what happens. Yeah. He's not good for that. He changes their culture. There's a degradation of how they live, because he comes in and it's about everybody following him. They were disciplined. They had customs, things that worked. He come in and just follow me. I got the vision. So you just gonna follow you now. Now we just waiting for you whatever your vision is. Whereas before they didn't have to do that. They were good on their own. They could fight. Yeah. They could survive. But now this is where my own interpretation came in. And I think it's a scene in the movie that kind of explains where the idea of him promising paradise and what he promises for paradise, why it's dangerous. So the metaphor I picked up was, so remember when Lady Jessica, she sees the worm for the first time? She see the baby worm.
Yeah.
She see the baby worms, right? So, and like the one lady tell her like, hey, you gotta, you're gonna have to drink this. She had already drank it, And she was like, hey, how do y'all, she basically was like, I want to see how it's done. How do y'all get the water of life? And she's like, all right. She makes the worm. She captures the worm, picks up the worm, takes the worm and drowns it. So you see that and you're like, damn, worms can't survive in water. Paul is promising them water, an oasis, jungle, trees. He come from Caladan. It's nothing but water.
Yes.
So it's like, to me, I took that as a metaphor of like, okay, him, because remember, they worship the worms. The worms are like gods to them. Shalu, the Shalu. You know what I mean? Like they wear the knives they fight with, the Chris knives. Those are worm teeth. Like their whole culture is really built around worshiping the worm. They ride the worms. The worms get them from place to place. Like that's a big part of their culture.
Yeah.
Paul come in and like, I'm gonna give y'all water. Worms can't survive in the water.
Yeah.
So it's like.
Yeah.
To me, that was like, and Lady Jessica was like, made her do that. To me, that was like the metaphor showing like, man, Paul gonna drown. He just drown. He gonna drown y'all gods. He gonna replace y'all gods by drowning them. That's how I took it. But I could be wrong. But that could be a reach. But I kind of looked at it like, okay, because damn, man, she just killed a damn worm. Like that's like a big part of the movie. Like for me, that was like a big deal because it's like, damn, you don't really see a worm die. You see these worms, like the worms are extremely powerful. They're like a big part of the movie.
Yeah, they powerful and at some point threatening, right? Like
yeah, absolutely.
If you're not in
they feed the worms. They that's like a big thing for spice production. Like you constantly in danger of worms. You got to walk a certain way in the sand.
Yeah,
but they like gods to them. They worship them. He's saying, I'm gonna bring trees. I'm gonna turn Arrakis into a new planet, basically, that has water, jungles, and trees and stuff like that, an oasis. But that means that the worms can't be there. So it's like he changing their culture, bro. Like imagine somebody coming in, not only claiming they the Messiah, but I'm gonna replace whatever God y'all worshiping. So yeah, I don't know. For me, that was like a metaphor.
they could and kind of like piggybacking on that again. I could be 100% off, but that's almost like even could be looked at as putting the Fremen in a situation where they can't really thrive. Like they've
they
adapted to
changed.
where they at now. Right. So
Yeah,
even like physically, right? Like in a situation where like, nah, I know they were showing the vision. This probably ain't got nothing to do with but he has that vision where you see his mother and the Fremen, like starvation, and he had the millions of starvation. And you have a situation where it's like similar to with that worm, you put it in something that it couldn't survive in. And paradise, as he sees it, may be a situation where the Fremen can't survive. They can't survive or thrive. And not my bad, can't thrive or survive in that. It can only lead to some kind of epic, failure, epic problem, destruction. That's that path to paradise is probably could be a path to destruction. Again, I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know one from the other, but when you say like metaphors and you start seeing those kind of things, I mean, it could be those kind of levels. Because he kept saying paradise. And when you say that, that makes sense because he kept saying to paradise. Said it like 2 or 3 times.
That's like his grand proclamation was like, I'm gonna make Dune a paradise. That's, you know what I mean? He like get these people behind him by promising them, because Stilgar talked about that kind of like that's part of the prophecy. But I don't think they don't realize though that means your way of life changes. Like everything y'all doing is already, by the time, because I'm not gonna spoil the next book. The next book is short, by the way. So I think that's why they're kind of including the war with the houses, because the next book is like the opposite of the first book. It's short. You can do the next book in like one movie, and you probably got to add something to make. If they're gonna make the next book or next movie a 3-hour movie, they're gonna add that part where they go to, because it's just in the books, it's just a time jump, and boom, we in the next book. We in the future. All this stuff done happened already. We in the future. So I think that's why they kind of ended it the way they did, where they go into war with the houses, because that's something that's really just a time jump in the book. But I say all that to say, I think that was the point of the book, is like. And that people didn't get. They just thought Paul won. He was the hero and he won. He got revenge for his family.
Yeah.
But it's really about the Fremen. The Fremen are like, they represent like a purity, like like the purity of culture, and how a Messiah kind of like makes you complacent. You know what I'm saying? Like it just going, not to repeat what I already said, but it's just, if you go from building all this, you go from finding a way to survive to, I'm just waiting. You're just gonna wait for the next vision from the Messiah. Like, you know what I mean? How we gonna get out of this? Before, you knew how to get out of it. You knew how to, as a group, y'all knew how to travel across the desert with worms and all that stuff. Y'all knew where to go. Now you just waiting on Paul to just tell you where to go. Hey, that's what we're gonna do next. Okay, boom, we're gonna follow Muad'Dib. But like whatever war, whatever it is. But they was thriving before that. What'd you say?
Oh, girl was kind of explaining that when she was talking to her father, Florence's character, Erlen,
Princess Erlen. Yeah,
she was like, no, stop, like kind of like in a way, she was like, you go in there with, like these people are surviving by faith now, like, so you want to, that's gonna be stronger if you're gonna make it stronger if you go in there guns a blazing, right? It's just going to make their faith stronger, but like, they may get, and that's kind of how I heard it. She might not have said it that way. And my mom, she said it that way. Now you're listening to you, was like when she kept going on, and it kind of went to the fact about kind of like a complacency that could take place if you just let them do their thing, right? If you don't go at it, they'll live in that kind of religious bubble that'll about religious, but just go by a faith bubble that can ultimately be their undoing.
There you go. I'm probably gonna watch the first movie a few more times, because
I definitely watch it.
Because it's crazy. I always said like he do such a good job with dreams, with the depiction of like somebody dreaming about something, but it's like, man, like it's so many nuggets from the first movie that played out in the second movie. I mean, you see Lady Jessica already with the face tattoos. You start to realize, like, man, like he was planting seeds early from in the first movie, and even with the thing with Jamis, the dude that he killed, was like, no, that was Jamis. I think I already said this, but you know, that was Jamis. He didn't know who Jamis was, but he saw Jamis. So it's like he see through time and space. He just didn't understand what it was. He didn't realize who these people were, what the outcomes were. But I'm repeating what I already said. But to just to kind of like wrap it up on Dune, man. Like I said, I thought the movie was I thought it was a great science fiction fantasy, a great adaptation. I thought visually it was one of the best movies I've seen in a long time. Like, and I just, again, it just reinforced my faith in that this dude should be the one that should be running Star Wars, man, because he understands world building. He understands the subtlety of science fiction, the way that George Lucas did, where you see stuff in the background and you just like, damn, that look lived in. That looked like it really is, like it really been lived in. Like that's a world that's real that been lived in. You know what I mean? Like it don't look, it ain't clean science fiction. It's like dirty. The equipment look old. Like I really believe that those sand crawlers was like real. You know what I mean? Like I really believe that. You know what I mean? When he was shooting it was just everything, man. Just everything.
Oh, that shit where they would like line the lasers up and then just blow up the
man. That
was cold, man.
Yeah, that's like some, man, that's, again, you could tell, bro. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up real quick, show you where he got what I think where he got the inspiration for that. Let me see.
Oh, he Canadian. He got a mean scarf gang.
This is where we got that from.
I'm a real big fan of him, man. Javier now.
Oh, Bardem, he that dude. And he's supposed to be Galactus?
Perfect. Yeah, that's what it was, Galactus. I'm like, you know me, I'm hoping he actually do something where he really get to work. I feel like his talent's getting wasted being Galactus. You know what I'm saying?
Bit, yeah. I mean, you're right. You're right about that. He needs some lines.
Yeah, he needs some lines. They might need to find a way to make him an Avenger somehow. Man, I don't know what he could be, but he needs something where he talking for real. But yeah.
My bad.
So you about to show something?
Yeah, I just want to show do that. Yeah, that line gun, bro. That damn, I can't get no video. But that it's just I don't know if you ever heard of, you know, Akira, like it's like one of the greatest anime of all time. Like it's like a movie from back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what that is, man. Like that when them little laser cannons.
Yeah.
Man, that's from Akira, bro. Like
okay.
I know the director was a fan of that movie. You know what I mean? Because you could tell it was like inspired.
Yeah, and it would just blow everything up. It was cold, man.
Yeah, that was dope. I'm trying to get a gift or something. But they basically, like, you know, they shoot the same exact way. You know
okay.
I mean? They shoot the same exact way, but you could tell that's where he kind of was like inspired, you know. But I just say that to say, man, dude, understand it, bro. I could just see him taking Star Wars, bro. It's just, man, him and Nolan, bro. You know, I could just see them taking, you know, Star Wars to where it need to be, you know.
Yeah, 100%. Like,
you know, restoring it to like we talked about, getting it back to the standard that it's supposed to be. Whereas, you know, with still and still inspiring and innovating, pushing technology forward, man, they can do that. These two directors, in my opinion, would do it the right way. You know, where they'll give you something, they'll give you that familiar look, but they'll still push it forward.
That was one of the better,
man. We went
conversations we've had.
Yeah, we went
one of the better ones, man.
Dune Part 2.
We ain't got blessed with a lot of.
We haven't, man.
Since we've been doing this, man.
Yeah, like how many, bro?
I feel like this the first one.
We've been doing this now almost 2 years. Yeah, because it's dope, man. I recommend.
Hey, thank you, Dennis, man. DV. Hey, thank you, man.
Yeah, man.
You helped us out on this one, man. We done knuckled through some bad movies, man.
Hey, I kind of clown the whole talker like that, you know, because it got. Wait, say that again. Hold on. What was the last one?
I said, man, there's a knuckle through some bad movie conversations, man. We like searching for things to say. Shit.
That's one of the better ones, boy. Man,
golly. I think the last we tried to talk about was the Marvels. Then, like, man,
that was tough.
Yeah, man. When she failed, that was funny, and Steve and Nick Fury said that line. That's all we had. Like, we had to talk about that one, man. Golly, man, thank you, DV. Shit, boy.
Yeah,
we needed that.